we have for today's program. We'll start with a small video, then we'll move on to the definition of generations, then we'll move on to what are the influences, perspectives, what are the 5 generations starting from traditional to Gen Z. Then we'll move on to the projections, how the what the numbers are today as per 2020 projections, as per previous year. What are the generational assumptions? What are the workplace characteristics? What are the workplace communications? In addition to that, I have not mentioned here, but I'll be discussing this briefly, how each generation views performance appraisal, how each generation views employee engagement, how each generation views L&D and rewards and recognition. That is the total rewards. Then how to handle, that is preparing for the new workforce. And the last, I won't say this is the last, we'll get into this immediately, maybe after a 25-minute lecture. So the overall time limit is 1 hour. So once I complete my lecture, we'll get into the open house where we'll have an interactive session. So I'm audible? That? Okay, right. Sorry. Okay, I'll just share the link. You can view it later. Okay. So basically what they are trying to say in that video is, this slide you're able to see, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the video is about how Gen Z are behaving, how they will change the world. So what the video depicts is how they are addicted to phones, and how they are always with their electronic gadgets, and how they see the world. They are always connected, instantly, globally connected, anywhere, anytime. So it's called hyper connectivity. So whether it is in the kitchen, or whether it is in the hall, or whether during study time, they are always with the phone. And their concentration time is only 8 seconds. If you tell anything, only they will listen for 8 seconds. So that is what it says, and how they are addicted to social media, and they compare themselves with others. So this comparison leaves them into stressful situations, and they become stressed. They compare themselves with others after seeing the social media. So that is what that video says. That is what the senior person, maybe a baby boomer, says, and maybe the Gen Z in that video, that guy says that we are very realistic. That is what he says. I'll share you the link. You can go through that. So let me get into the presentation. Okay. So see what is a generation? Basically, a generation is people who are in the same age level and same stage of life. So that is the definition of generation. So they have lived under similar conditions. So they have lived under similar technologies. So they were impacted by the same events, whether it is a war, whether it is a political uncertainty, or whether it is globalization. So they were impacted by the same world events, political affairs, world economy, and same experiences. They have common experiences. The particular the people who belong to the same generation have common experiences. They have shared values. Okay. So what influences their perspectives? So as I said, politics, world affairs, economy, the relationship with the adults, parents. So some of them would have grown up with our parents as friends. Our parents would have treated us as friends. And some of our parents would have treated us traditionally, disciplined us traditionally. I'm not saying today's parents are not grooming their children in a disciplined manner, but it's only the two extremes in a continuum. So invention and technology. So every second invention is happening. So what the research says is by 2050, Every 3 months, you will have to learn a new computer course. And they are impacted by common experiences. So these are the 5 generations working side by side in the workplace. Okay. In today's workplace, you could see all these 5 generations. Maybe a traditionalist, maybe somebody who will be around 75 years of age, maybe a freelancer, maybe of that age, or maybe not in the workplace, but you can see these people. You will be interacting with these people as consultants. So baby boomers, we have got the Gen X, millennials, obviously the Gen Z. That is what we say, Gen 2020. So the years which they have depicted is the year in which they were born. Here and there, some differences will be there if you surf the net, but more or less this is accurate. So with this 5 generations, you will have to handle the workplace today. This 5 generations, you will have to handle the employees in the workplace, which is very challenging, which is a important skill required for the HR professionals. So the traditionalists, so as I said, so they were characterized by Great Depression, World War II, duty, honor, so dedication. So they were united. They were facing hard times and then they prospered. So unlike today's children who have everything. So for them, doing a good job was most important. They had workplace loyalty. Today, the concept of loyalty has died down. So these are the common features associated with the traditionalists, or the characteristics, how this particular generation was. Then coming to the baby boomers, so these people are going to retire in the next 7 years, maybe 5, or maybe by 2024, if you take 60 as the retirement age. So 1964, in that range, if you see 2024, they will be retiring. So you will have to find a replacement for them. So they are characterized as workaholic. For them, success was defined by trophies, plagues, lifestyle elements. They were optimistic. So they were consumers. So they were defined by their job. Quickly jumping to Generation X. So here we witnessed layoffs. Okay. Here in the Indian context, layoff is something different, and in the overseas context, it is something different. Here in the Indian context, layoff means, as you know, you would have written the Industrial Disputes Act, but in the overseas context, layoff means permanent separation from the workplace, termination. Okay, end of lifelong employment. So that concept emerged here in Gen X. So between 41 to 52 years of age, who are the workplace. They were suspecting about the values possessed by the baby boomers. So they were raised by their parents, as I told, as friends. They were very self-reliant. They lived with the nature. So this particular generation, they lived with the nature. They were very self-reliant. They are free agents. They were cynical and pessimistic. What do you mean by cynical? Can anyone tell? Can anyone just unmute and tell? They were pessimistic, everybody knows, having they were negative. Overall characteristics. I'm not saying everybody in Gen X will be like this. It's a common characteristics as per the findings. What do you mean by cynical? Can anybody unmute and tell? You will get it in Google, yeah. If you type it, everything is there readily available. It's not my own content. It's only I've only taken these slides from the net here and there, cut, copy, and paste. I'm only doing editor's role. What do you mean by cynical? Can anyone tell? Yes. Somebody should talk.
Skeptical of the integrity, doubtful of effort. Skeptical of integrity.
Integrity, okay.
Doubtful.
Okay. Huh? Okay. So they are a cynical means they live with the nature, as I told. They are motivated by self-interest. They don't have they are motivated by self-interest. That is what here cynical means. Okay. They don't do anything for honor, something like that. Okay. Fine. We'll move on to the next. So millennials. So here you will have a majority of the workforce characterized by the 9/11 attacks, Twin Towers, which took place in the World Trade Center, New York, US. They are optimistic. Unlike the Gen X, they are optimistic. These people, where they are very self-confident. Individualistic. They are individualistic, but yet group-oriented. So they are busy, helicopter parented. Like Gen X, they were raised by their parents. They are gender neutral, race and gender neutral, geography neutral. They are service oriented. Okay, so they would like to join a company only if the company is socially responsible. The company should be socially responsible. Then only they will join that employer. This millennial generation. So when they want to join take up any employment, they will see whether the company is socially responsible, what the company is doing in terms of CSR, whether the company is ethical and making money. If the company is ethical only, they will join. So this generation is characterized by this particular trait. They are ambitious, yet appear aimless. They are ambitious, but sometimes they do appear aimless. So Gen Z, still research is going on. We don't have much data on Gen Z as we have for other generations. They are shaped by economic uncertainty. The moment they were born from 1995, if you see, a lot of uncertainty took place, right from 2K to your 2008 recession, to your 2008, 2012 economic crisis, or whether the recent pandemic. So they have witnessed this. That is, we have also witnessed, but since they were born, they are seeing these things more often than us. So they are dubious and fearful of short-term safety and long-term prospects. They are hardworking, mindful of the future. They are very practical. Their expectations are very lower. They have modest demands. For them, technology is everything. As I said, completely connected. Most of them access 5+ screens daily, parallelly. 41% of time is spent with the computers. Wi-Fi is more important than working. Okay, so yet human connection is important. Though they are connected through though they are wired most of the time, for them human connection is still important. Social media use is more anonymous than millennials, but there are privacy concerns. So these are the features for Gen Z. So Gen Z data. So 60 million Gen Zers are there, even more than millennials. So 75% believe there are good ways to get an education other than going to college. So they don't believe in going to college. They believe in e-learning, online learning. So online courses, blended learning, etc. They believe in that. And 76% of the Gen Z are willing to start from the bottom, from the lower level of the ladder. They prefer face-to-face communication. They write their own JDs, job descriptions. So they want to decide their own career path. So as I said, average attention span is only 8 seconds. So most of their parents have their own ventures. In this generation, most of their parents have their own ventures, businesses. So entrepreneurship is in their DNA, obviously. So 75% of them believe that their current hobby should become their business. For example, if cooking is their hobby, or reading translation is their hobby, so they want to become a translator in future, something like that. Or they want to start a restaurant if cooking is their hobby, or they want to become a chef, or they want to become an entrepreneur. They want to convert that hobby into a full-time job. This is their characteristic. Very interesting. So these are the projections, 2020 projections. As per the survey, if you see, here it is very important. If you see, this population is going to get retired in the next 5 or 6 years. So you will have to find the replacement from here. So that's going to be a challenge for the HR pros. This 30% of the population is going to get retired in the next 6 or 7 years. So obviously this population, that is Gen X, will move here. So they'll have to assume their responsibilities. So this 50% will have to move here. So what this means? Can anybody tell what this slide indicates? This 30% of the population, that is the traditionalists and baby boomers, are going to get retired in the next 6 or 7 years. So what it means for Gen X, Y, and Z? Please tell. Anybody unmute and tell what it means. Come on, fast. Very simple.
It's also about forecasting, sir.
Yeah, this this is data. This is actual data from a research, from a survey, a future workplace survey conducted by Mose Adams. So this is the actual data. What we have on hand is factual data. So projection, obviously, but what you could infer from this slide, a very important inference as a HR professional, what comes to your mind? I have given you the clue. 30% are going to retire.
Number of working professionals.
Pardon?
A percentage of working professionals in each generation.
Yes, you are right. That is what it depicts. That is what is given in the form of a pie chart. But what I'm asking is what you could be able to infer from this slide. What is the takeaway from this slide? Other than that, other than the numbers, it is very much visible. As a HR professional, what do you infer from this slide?
Sir, I think generation Y used to be going to as a majority in future workforce.
See, this means so 30% are going to move out of the workforce. Point number one. Point number two, it means accelerated responsibilities for Gen Y and Z. Are they ready to take where we have seen they are ready to start their own enterprises? So for them, it's going to be accelerated responsibilities, additional responsibilities. Are they equipped? So whether the required competencies are there in the workplace, whether there is a skill gap deficiency, how you are going to address that skill gap deficiency. So this is the way you need to project to your management wherever you are working. Okay, because their aspirations are different, as you've seen, as the research says. Are they ready to take additional responsibilities? So this is what is the key takeaway. So this is the repetition, what each generation repeats, basically the assumptions. So each generation assumes the following generation will like to have what they have. For example, if I'm in Gen X, I assume my son will want what I have, and the same meaning of success. That is what the first point indicates. So they should pay their do their duties the same way. So I'll believe that my son or daughter should do the same way to earn that success. So that is my assumption. So immediately my son will think about his son or daughter in the same way. So each generation thinks that the next generation had it much easier. My mother would have thought that I have much easier life than she had, or I would think my child has a much easier life than I had. So these are the basic assumptions. So these are the workplace characteristics. If you see in the fourth generation, as I said, Gen Z still research is going on. So, okay. So if you see from traditionalists to millennials, okay, so just a broad overview I'll give. So as far as the work ethics and values, how the traditionalists saw the work ethics and values. So they respected their boss. So they respected hard work. They sacrificed their personal lives. For them, duty was everything. Duty was before fun. They adhered to rules. Whereas in this continuum, just leave the in between for the benefit of time. This continuum, these are two extremes, right? In a continuum, traditionalists versus, or maybe baby boomers versus millennials. Okay, so these were workaholics. They worked efficiently. So crusading causes. So moving to crusading to a particular objective. Personal fulfillment. So they were very much quality oriented. Question authority. So okay. Whereas millennials, if you see, for them the question is what's next. So they are more oriented with multitasking. So tenacity, determination. They have more determination. Entrepreneurial. This word is very important. Entrepreneurial for them. Okay, this is going to be the future. So tolerant, they like uncertainty. They like uncertainty because every day they are dealing with this. Whereas here, uncertainty is something shocking. Uncertainty is something enjoyable here. Okay, so attitude, if you see the attitude, so the baby boomers, I'm only speaking about two extremes. Let us forget about the traditionals, baby boomers and millennials. So they accept the rules. Okay, here, okay, with the authority that earns their respect. Your respect is important. For them, time, how they viewed time, something they invested in their future. They are reluctant to give away their time. Very beautiful, no comparison. They are not ready to give up their time. See, work ethics, here visibility is the key. Here something it is different. Here visibility is the key. When 8 o'clock, I want to present a report to the boss. Visibility, I want to show off. Here I have another life after 5. Feedback and rewards. Money was the feedback. Money was the rewards. Title recognition, designation. Senior Vice President, Chief Human Resource Officer, Director HR, CEO, something like that. So இவங்களுக்கு இது மாதிரி இருந்தது. Okay. Whereas for the meaningful work, what I do should be meaningful. Whether it is whether what I do is adding value to the company, whether it is tied to the strategy of the company, how my work contributes to the strategy of the company, how it is tied to the strategic objectives, whether I am doing meaningful work. What I am doing is meaningful and irrelevant. Well, irrelevant. So this is the difference. So similarly, if you see communications, if you take the communication, workplace communication, another important aspect in the workplace communication, because for each and everything, the HR professionals have to communicate. Whether the HR professional is a trainee or whether the HR professional is a CHRO. So communication they'll have to do right from among employees, from one factory to another factory, from factory to headquarters, from factory to corporate office, from home country to host country, etc. So communication is the key. So in the workplace communication, So baby boomers liked in-person communication, whereas millennials like email, voicemail. As far as the content of the communication is concerned, chunk it down, but give me everything. Whereas here, if and when I need it, I will find it online. Content, they are able to find it online. Okay, the moment I said you go and search in the Google the meaning of the word. We were trying to search for the meaning of the word cynic. I told you to search online, something like that. So the context. So what is the context? How they viewed the context of the communication, baby boomers? Relevance to the bottom line, how it impacts the profits, and how it impacts my rewards. Relevance, how it is relevant now, today, and my role. Here, nothing to do with the profits. How it's impacting my role. Very interesting comparison. It's semi-formal, baby boomers. It's eye-catching fun. If they want to do any communication, they want to do it in a eye-catching manner and in a fun-oriented manner. What is the tactics? Email, print, face-to-face dialogue, online tools and resources. You are online, wired, seamlessly connected through technology, 24/7. Okay. Blurring of personal and work lives here. Frequency as needed. Here constant, continuously. Here as needed, here constantly. Here I can quote you an example. For example, performance appraisal. Baby boomers were happy with the yearly once kind of feedback. Whereas millennials, they want constant feedback, continuous feedback, how I'm performing, not at the fag end of the year. So how you'll design your performance appraisal system. Then coming to the speed of communication. So for them, it should be handy. It should be something available. The speed should be reasonable, available. Whereas millennials, speed is something 5 minutes ago, something like that, immediately, instant. So this is preparing for the new workforce. So as I said, you're going to handle multi-generational workforce in the workplace in today's organization. So how you're going to handle? So you should foster diversity. So what is the advantage of promoting diversity? Is you can make good quality decisions. You can improve the bottom line. So diversity is nothing but appreciating the differences, appreciating the conflicts, appreciating the differences, and valuing the commonalities and dissimilarities, and trying to get the best out of each person. So that is the role of the HR. So educate the employees and help them understand from the perspective of others. Don't stick to your concrete positions. Okay, discrete positions. See from the other person's point of view. So facilitate cross-generational and cross-gender mentoring. So cross-generational mentoring, something important. A baby boomer mentoring baby boomer mentoring Gen Z or a millennial. So you must personalize the experiences as much as possible. So if you have a website, if the company has a website, one of the ways to promote the company is through the employer branding, is through the website. So how do you personalize the experiences? If a baby boomer goes and sees the website, it should be personalized. If a Gen X or if a Gen Y or the X or millennials or Z goes and sees the website, for them it should be a different experience in the same website. So that is the challenge. That is employer branding. You must personalize the experiences. You will have to encourage collaboration, communication, and feedback. So this is how you will have to prepare for the new workforce. So I'll give you just few examples. So appraisal, I told you one thing. So how the feedback, how baby boomers want the feedback, how millennials or Gen Z want the feedback. Similarly, rewards and recognition will be completely different. Baby boomers will want more of retirement benefits, more of superannuation, more of retirals. So whereas your millennials or Gen Z, they view rewards as different. They view rewards as rewards here means total rewards, not only your direct benefits, also your indirect benefits, intangible rewards. They want challenging work, challenging assignments, not only money, challenging work, challenging assignments. So that is the way they see the rewards. More cash on hand. So how will you devise a compensation structure? If you are a company with 1,000 employees, how you are going to frame a compensation structure where you have a pool of all these employees? Then comes engagement. It's completely different. Employee engagement for baby boomers and millennials. Baby boomers, how they view engagement, how millennials view engagement. It is completely opposite. Coming to L&D, learning and development. How baby boomers generally don't like to question the trainers. They see that if interrupting during the training is showing disrespect to the trainer. Whereas Gen Z, they will be bored if there is not too much of activity. They will be bored by inactivity in the training program. They would like to question the trainer. They would like to participate. They would like to have short capsule sessions rather than 8-hour sessions. This is how the whole ecosystem is changing. So let's have an interactive session now. Let's have an open house session. So you can maybe share your experiences or put a topic for discussion in this particular area itself. That is the multi-generational workforce. Then we'll have a discussion about it. You can unmute yourself and you can start the discussion so that it will be a two-way communication. With this, I'll just finish my thoughts on this particular subject. Though a lot of things are there to offer, but we'll have an open up session. Yeah. Yes, please. We have 15 minutes. Valuable 15 minutes. Anybody, anything, maybe because I understand most of you guys are working and pursuing this course. So definitely each company is different, whether it's a government company or a non-government company, whether it's a private company or a public company, for profit or not profit, domestic or multinational. You can put up your views. You can tell, no need to quote the, for confidentiality purpose, if you feel something cannot be divulged, don't do that. But in a generic, more a diplomatic way, you can ask, I can answer. Or we can discuss rather than.
Sir, good evening, sir. Pradeep here.
Yeah, Pradeep.
Sir, though it is recorded, I'm not mentioning my company name.
No issues, no issues.
Okay, sir. I'm from...
See, whatever you are asking is only from a HR professional point of view. We are not pointing out to any company. It's your profession. You have every right to ask.
Why? Because this is the thing we are facing in my office. That's a thing I want to share with you.
Yes, yes, please.
Between the generation gap. We are 8 to 10 HRs there, sir.
Oh,
we are
very
from
good.
sales. We are a sales HR and 4 from sales HR. 2 from mid-30s and 2 from above 50s. So what we are facing is that above 50 plus aged group fellow is not mingling with us. They are showing the attitudinal issues and they are not taking up their additional responsibilities also.
1 minute, let me put off the fan. It's causing disturbance. Yeah. Okay. See, this is a typical collaboration issue which happens in any workplace. Okay, because of the generational difference. Okay, you proceed, please.
This is the thing we are not, no, we are ready to share the workload also, but they are not taking up the work and showing the attitude. We know General VP and Senior GM and we know even MD, why you are forcing us to do these things and all, like they are doing, and we are not dumping any job to them, and we too doing all the kind of jobs and all.
Yeah, see, if you have a clearly defined job description, what is expected out of each person, then this issue will not come. So as I see the problem which you are putting forth, as I see, there is no clearly defined job description for each position, whether it is HR or sales HR or HR business partner or whether it is any department for that matter. There should be clearly defined roles and responsibilities. Who's responsible, who's accountable. So if that is there, then this issue will not come. I know him means everybody knows everyone. Even I know him. Whether he knows me, that is a different thing. Okay. I know maybe Ratan Tata. Whether Ratan Tata knows me. So those kind of immature kind of conversations are immaterial. There should be clearly defined job descriptions. So this issue will not crop up. It's all part and parcel of the game. We'll have to live with it. So even I have come across such situations in the workplace. So basically, you should understand the other person and try to see these. I'm not saying that you are at fault. Try to see the situation from his point of view and what's making him to not to share the workload, or what's making him to feel that the entire work is dumped into him. So what is that? You will have to understand him fully as a person. Then only you will have to understand him fully. Then you will have to change yourself rather than asking him to change. You will have to change. If you cannot change that person, or rather you cannot change, then you are in a catch-9 situation. Okay, this is there everywhere. This is there. I have come across such situations. Same situation. Whatever you're saying, same situation I have come across. It's more of a give and take rather than take and give. You give something, take something. First you give, then you take something.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Pradeep. Thanks for interacting. It's very interesting. Only when you interact, see, we'll have real life problems, real work problems. Otherwise, it's more of theory, boring.
Sir, good evening.
Mani here.
Yeah, Mani.
Sir, this is about the compensation related question, sir. So,
who's speaking?
Money here.
Yes,
Money.
Mani.
Yes, sir. About the compensation related question, sir. When an employee is performing beyond the expectation in a company, okay. So, but in a company, they'll give, there's, as per the standards, as per the policy, they say like they'll give around 10 to 15% hike in a year. Even if the employees are explaining them and improving their skills, okay, they'll block them with that percentage of 15 or maybe maximum 20. So, okay. So when after that, the employee, if employee plan to switch over, okay, so they'll get around 80 or 90% from other company.
Oh.
At the time, the HR department or the project, management department, they come to the employee and they are asking you to stay, and they are ready to give the compensation what the other company is giving. So in your views, what makes this to do in a company? Why this is happening? They can, yeah.
See, generally, compensation is one of the areas which is very visible. Okay, it's a visible HR activity like recruitment. It's one of the domains which is very visible, unlike other domains where HR is very much visible. So generally, any organization for that matter, there are 3 compensation strategies. One is whether you should ask your management this question as a HR professional. These three strategies: whether you want to lead the market, whether you want to match the market, whether you want to lag the market. Lead, match, lag. Okay. What strategy you want to adopt? Generally speaking, I'm not telling specifically. Generally speaking, any organization will not want to be a leader in compensation. Will not want to be a leader in compensation. But at the same time, they would like to match whatever the market is paying. Otherwise, what will happen is what you are saying. People will start getting 2x. 90% is almost 2x of what they are drawing. Then they will take a counter offer in the current organization, which happens in many companies. Even I myself have given counter offers to employees when they have put down their papers. So any organization, first you should ask your management whether you want to lead, match, lag. First determine that strategy. Second one is, as I said, generally any organization will not want to be a leader. Will not want to be a leader in compensation, because compensation actually in many, especially in service industries, if you see, it is almost 80% of your operational costs. So they would not like to want to be a leader in that particular domain. So they would like to match it. So you need to have a market survey data, which is very much relevant to your industry, which is very much relevant to your geography. You can't say that, sir, I'm in tier 2 city. I want to compare myself with Mumbai. You can't do that. So geography is one thing. At the same time, you will have to see whether the company is in the same sector. Whether if you are in textiles, you will have to benchmark only with the textiles. The job may be common. For example, job of a HR or a finance professional is common across industry. That is the greatest advantage for us. We can easily jump from one company to another. Whereas the so-called the technical line jobs, they'll have to confine to their industry. So that is the disadvantage. So you ask your management what you want to do with respect to strategy, compensation strategy, lead, match, or lag. If you are going to lag, then you will have a good time recruiting people. Okay. If you're going to lag, then you'll have a good time recruiting people, and your time will go in recruiting. And to answer to your question, to retain the people when they come, it's a general thing adopted, because if the guy is good, again, if you take a new guy, what will happen to the training cost? What will happen to the recruitment cost? The person will deliver only after 1 year of service. 1 year he'll only be learning. So that is the reason for retaining. So first you determine your strategy, what you want to do. Be clear on that. And to answer to your question, 15 or 20% ceiling, see, any performance annual increment will have a budget. We'll have to stick to the budget. You cannot go beyond the budget. So the amount has to flow from that budget. If you will have to give higher increment to someone, you will have to lower the increment of somebody. You cannot give the increment of 20% to all. Where will the revenue come from? Where will the funds come from? It's a very challenging domain, compensation. Very challenging, sensitive domain. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir, I got it. Thanks.
Sir, very good evening, sir. My name is Karan.
Yeah, Karan.
Yeah, so sir, I work for an hospitality industry, comes under a segment of, in one of our iconic brand in India. So our group owns like 125 years of in the market. So as you are rightly mentioned, though, we also deal with the people of the 5 generation on daily basis. So as a HR point of view, as you have rightly mentioned, and our other colleague of mine also had a question about a compensation, and also they asked about cross culture problems. So also, sir, like I wanted to take up a point of a grievance handling. So as an HR point of view, like, I have to go through a grievance, which like, the people needs are very different comparatively to the 5 generation. So the first 3 generations are like, they are talks about, job security. And the millennial and the generation of 2020 are like, very much are into compensation oriented. I can put it across like that. And also when you see that, the first 3 traditionalists and boomers and Gen X, we don't have any kind of attritions there. So if I can put across a gender, like, attrition mapping there, I can put 60% of Gen X and minimal, I can put around 30 and Gen X around 10. So right now what happens as a point of an HR point of view, I haven't like, as a point of HR, I have a problem in terms of recruiting a people. Okay, and also when I have a second problem of training a people like boomers into a traditionalist, taking up an additional roles. So that is also one of a challenge we have. And as though we are all like, very much good in the market, in my organization, I don't have an issue. In case if I move across the organization, I think I might have a challenge of like, training a people into taking up a leadership roles. And also when it comes to, sir, compensation, as you rightly mentioned, people are like, right now the brand is paying less, another brand is paying 500 rupees more. The people wanted to fluctuate and move. So how we going to handle the, the needs are different, and the satisfactions are different. And when it comes to the employee needs are very much different in terms of 5 generations. So in terms of handling grievance, like, like how to do it. So that is my question.
Okay. Handling grievance with respect to compensation?
Yes, sir, because like needs are different, and
You're speaking about the general grievance handling
yes,
process,
yes.
or pertaining to comp alone?
No, sir. I'm talking about the complete generation, because like, I come across all age group in my organization.
No, that is fine. That is the theme today. My question is, your discussion is about the grievance with respect to comp, or the overall grievance process, overall grievance,
which I'm talking. Yes.
Okay. See, as you rightly said, 50% you have said you have the answer with you. The needs, desires, wants are completely different, which we saw from one gen to next gen. What you will have to do is, you have beautifully put it that, sir, in the first 2 gens, that is the baby boomers and maybe Gen X, I'm not seeing any attrition. In Gen Z and millennials, I'm seeing attrition. You're saying, yes, that is true. You are having the demographics, so you are having the data. So you are having the data. You will have to do a critical evaluation. Whatever the data you are having on hand, so to handle the grievance, what you will have to do is, let it be any grievance, whether it is a compensation, whether it is benefits, or whatever it is. Generally, the grievance comes from these 2 areas, and maybe interpersonal relationships. So you should have data on hand. So what you know about people is not people; it's data. So only if you have data, you can take evidence-based decisions with the data. How many people are utilizing this particular health insurance? How many people are utilizing this particular dash facility, some welfare facility? How many people are utilizing national pension scheme? How many people are opting for what to say, sabbatical leave? How many people are opting for higher education? Some data, some concrete data you should have. With that data, you should have a basket of options, not a single option. You cannot run the company. The company which you are saying, I'm able to easily identify. The company in the hospital, I can easily identify. But what I'm saying is, I know very well, don't go from that company. It's a great company. What I'm trying to say is, from the basket of benefits, you try to allot the benefits. Whoever wants to choose the benefit, let them choose. In future, if you change over or something, so you can, one size doesn't fit all, right? One size doesn't fit all. It doesn't fit out.
Sir,
And generally in grievance handling, actually HR does a better job than the immediate supervisor. Keep that in mind.
got it,
HR does a better job than the immediate supervisor
sure,
in
sir.
grievance handling, as far as especially the comp and benefits are concerned. Have a basket of options. Don't put all the eggs into one basket. Have a basket of options. Ask the people to choose from that. It's a laborious process. It's a resource intensive process, but there is no other option as I see. No other option as I see. You should have data, and you should have a business case to do it, to present to the management. Otherwise, this is going to happen. This is a ever-present issue. Okay, we have had a good discussion. Any other points we'll discuss? Otherwise, we'll try to conclude the session. If there's one more thing I can take it. Otherwise, we'll conclude. I'm happy to conclude. We have had a fruitful discussion. Any other thing? We have had any other people who want to share their experience? It's more of experience sharing what we have now. That's what has made the session very interesting.
Any other question you have, friends?
Sir, if they don't have, I have one question for leadership in terms of cross culture. Okay, sir. So example, like right now, people are really from the age group of Gen X and Millennial, they wanted to take an additional roles and they wanted to aspire to grow. So that is a point one. So when they are very much aspire to take up a leadership role and they wanted to grow, they wanted to go to the next basket of Gen X. So what happens, the people who are there currently, they are in the leadership of, they are having different roles, which they have been worked for very long years and they have a very good experience. And when we go there, like we are not fitting there. So how, what are the suggestions for the leadership that we can able to improve ourselves? So that is my question.
I'm going to say the leadership pipeline. Leadership pipeline. Yeah, you will have to identify your high performers, potential performers, and you will have to groom them for leadership positions. Okay, you will have to identify your high performers and create a talent pool of high performers who can take up leadership roles. That is the way. You will have to create talent pools, basically. You'll have to identify your high performers, give them stretched assignments. Stretched assignments is the best way to groom a leader. Okay, stretched assignments, stretched workload. So that is the best way. Because work experience gives you 70% of the exposure. 70-20-10 principle. Training is only 10%. 70 is work experience. 20 is sharing from your colleagues. 70-20-10. Learning from your colleagues. So you will have to give them stretched assignments. Identify a pool of people. Identify a set of competencies for leadership. What your organization has. What's leadership in your organization, because it's different from culture to culture. It is very culture centric. What you consider as leadership in organization X is absolutely nonsense in organization Y. Okay, the values, beliefs. So it varies. First you identify your values. So identify your vision, mission. Obviously you will be having that. Identify the competencies for the leadership. Who are the people who are going to get into there? Okay. And leadership is a part of it. Leadership alone is not sufficient to take up the leadership position. There are other competencies, especially emotional intelligence. Okay, emotional intelligence and men management, handling people. That is why HR is the best person to become a CEO, because they know the business, they know the people. And if you know finance to a certain extent, you can be a CEO. As I earlier said, you can move from one industry to another industry, migrate from one industry to another industry easily, unlike other automobile engineer can go only into an automobile company. For you can go as a HR in the auto sector, you can go as a HR in the IT sector. Okay.